What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. So I want to take a look and a listen to Representative Jayapal. She's going to be talking about the infrastructure bill, the first infrastructure bill, as well as the American Families Plan. And this is important because Ms. Jayapal, she's a representative. So right now, the first infrastructure bill is in the Senate. Once they approve it in the Senate, it's going to go over to the House. And so it's important to know how these politicians in the House feel about this infrastructure bill, and are they willing to move forward with this infrastructure bill so they can really address the American Families Plan? Because you have a lot of progressives, and Ms. Jayapal's a progressive, they're focused on this American Families Plan. They want this human infrastructure. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they maneuver around this and if they accept this first infrastructure bill. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, like always, I just want to remind you, if you see me in the comment section, make sure you see a picture of me, my name, and then a check mark next to my name. If you don't see those three things, it's not me. It's someone that's trying to impersonate me. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and a listen to Ms. Jayapal. Here we go.
Reconciliation bill. Joining us now is Washington Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which will have a big role in deciding what kind of infrastructure deal can pass the House. Congresswoman, good to see you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Great to see you, Ali.
Let's talk about your hesitation about this bill. Has it got anything to do with what's in this bill? Because we don't really know enough about what's in the bipartisan bill, or is it all about not trimming stuff off of the other bill that you are more focused on?
Well, as I said in my statement, we don't know what's in the bipartisan bill. So we have to see it. We have to make sure that we agree with the provisions that are in the bipartisan bill. And we have to make sure that the reconciliation bill is passed before we will vote on a bipartisan deal. This is something we've said for 3 months, and it's not just progressives. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said the same thing. Chuck Schumer has said the same thing. The reality is these two bills have to move together, because the core of what Jared Bernstein was just talking about with you is that we need to make significant investments in the health and well-being of the American people. Coming out of the COVID times, but even before that, Ali, we had a situation where the wealthiest and the rich do just great in America, but everybody else does not see the opportunity for them to advance in their generation. Not just their generation, not just 2 generations, but in 3 generations, people don't see economic growth. So that's why the reconciliation plan is so important, with investments in housing and free community college, in childcare, in paid leave, in Medicare expansion, and of course, in saving the planet and protecting immigrants who have been at the forefront of protecting us during COVID.
So let's talk about, we don't know what's in the bipartisan bill. Obviously, the much larger reconciliation bill, we have fewer details. I heard you say you want to see that reconciliation bill done before. Do you mean literally before, or do you mean in conjunction with, or approximately at the same time?
No, we really need to see the reconciliation bill passed in the Senate before we can advance the bipartisan deal. And the reason is because it is very important that all 50 Democrats, including those who negotiated the bipartisan deal, understand that this is a twofer. You kill one, and I remember Joe Manchin saying this a week or 2 ago about the bipartisan deal. He was saying, if you kill the bipartisan deal, then the whole thing is off. Well, we got a message too, which is you kill or undermine the $3.5 trillion reconciliation package, the whole thing is going to collapse. So it is really important that we do these two things together. I believe we can do it, Ali. I just want to be clear. I really believe that we can get there. There is a tremendous amount of agreement, most importantly from the American people. Republicans, Democrats, and independents support this kind of investment because you know why? So many people are suffering across the country, and they want us to desperately and urgently address the needs that they are facing.
So that was Representative Jayapal. Now, there was something interesting that she was talking about here. So the parallel, we've been hearing about, they want to run them parallel, but it sounds like they're not going to do anything with that first infrastructure bill until they have an agreement in the Senate on the second infrastructure bill, that American Families Plan. So that will delay things. That's definitely going to delay things, because what we're looking at here is we're looking at the first infrastructure bill. But let's say the Senate goes ahead and approves the first infrastructure bill. Let's say they approve it in August. They go on recess. And then when they come back mid-September, then they'll start addressing and the hopes is that they will also approve the budget resolution. Okay, so they'll approve the budget resolution. That doesn't mean that they've approved the American Families Plan, that second infrastructure bill, but they will open up the reconciliation process. And so once they do that, let's say mid-September, when we're looking at mid-September, now they're going to address the American Families Plan in the Senate. So what's going to have to happen is they're going to have that bill. And so it's going to take time for them to get the bill, even though it's going to be amongst Democrats, because the Republicans have already indicated they're not going to go for the American Families Plan. So this is going to be all Democrats working, but they're still going to have to negotiate. You're still going to have to talk to Senator Sinema, Senator Manchin, and get their input, because you need to they all need to vote for this. You need to get 50 votes in the Senate. 50 Democrats need to vote for this second infrastructure bill in order for it to go anywhere. And so that's going to take a little bit of time. So once they do that, once they approve it, and I'm saying it'll probably take at least 3 to 4 weeks for them to get through that whole process. So now we're into October, and if we're into October, they're still holding on to that first infrastructure bill, because even though it was approved in the Senate, it's still going to be held off until they get something done with the second infrastructure bill and get that approved in the Senate. And then the House will vote on both bills and then send them to the president. So that's what we're looking at. I mean, this could take some time. And Ms. Jayapal, what she's saying there, it sounds like it's going to take some time for them to get everything. And the talk earlier was they're going to hold it hostage. They are going to hold that first infrastructure bill hostage. That bipartisan bill, they're going to hold hostage until they get the second infrastructure bill signed in the Senate, and then they'll go ahead and approve it in the House and send it over to the president. So that's what I have right now. If you guys have any questions, post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.